welcome back to another Kim the Introvert video. I am Kim the Introvert and thank you for tuning into this video. So as you can see by today's title of the video, we're going to be talking about the Celebrity Summit cruise. So recently I went on a cruise on Celebrity Summit. We left out of Miami. It was a 5-day cruise, 2 ports, which was Cozumel and the Bahamas. We had a room with a veranda and we were at the bow of the boat, so we were towards the front of the boat. So those are the specs of our cruise. The demographic, it was majority white and over the age of 60. There were very few people that were 35 and under, and very, very small population of children. Barely any children at all on the cruise, which was fine with me. So I'm gonna start with our stateroom. So the stateroom was really nice. Really liked it. It was the perfect size. It was very well lit. I know that sounds crazy, but if you stayed in hotels, you know hotels have horrible lighting usually. They usually don't have overhead lighting, it's always lamps. So I know a stateroom is completely different from a hotel room, but that's the closest comparison I have. So the stateroom, I love how much lighting there was in the room. It didn't feel dark or like I was in a cave. Love the veranda. It was wonderful. Spent a lot of time on the veranda, which is also a balcony. It's called a veranda on the Celebrity Summit, or on Celebrity. Celebrity Cruise Line calls their balcony rooms verandas. Love the veranda. It was great. It was perfect. It did feel private enough. It was fantastic. The bed was pretty comfortable. It was large enough. And also my favorite part of the room was actually the bathroom. It was very efficient in the way that they had it organized. I felt like there was more than enough space. Everything was right where it needed to be, and it was very easy to maneuver. It could be because of like my size and age had to do with that, but for me it was super duper easy to like maneuver around in the bathroom. It's a small and tight space, but it's very well thought out, and you know, everything just laid out perfectly. So now we can talk about the food. So overall, the food and the desserts were good. So there was a pull grill, so I ended up having a veggie burger at the pull grill. That was good. It also came with fries, and then you could pick your own toppings, so lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, any type, you know, barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, relish, mayo, all that. It was there for you to choose. You get a naked burger and then they dress it up for you. So that was cool. I enjoyed it. Plenty of seating to sit on at the pool grill to, you know, enjoy your meal. So we ate 2 dinners at the main dining room. We decided to opt for a reservation when we ate at the main dining room. It just made things so much easier. We knew exactly what time we were supposed to be there. We showed up, we gave them our name, and they took us right to a table that was already reserved for us. So it was perfect. We ate most of our meals at the buffet that was on board. The buffet was in a very convenient location, so it was pretty easy to just go there and get a meal really quickly. There was a lot of variety in the buffet. Everything from Asian food to Indian food, which is still Asian, but you get what I'm saying. If you are a vegetarian or a pescatarian, if you're just straight up carnivore, if you want American food, if you want Chinese food, if you want just fruit, if you just want like a little charcuterie board, you can make that. There was a pasta bar, there was a stir fry section. So there was just so much, and I know I'm not naming everything, but there was a lot of variety of food, and it actually changed every day. So that was really cool. We ate 1 meal at Le Petit Chef. That was fun. We really enjoyed that. The food was really good. We each got a different meal. So I chose one menu and my partner chose a different menu. And so we got to each experience something different. The experience at Le Petit Chef is definitely one of a kind, definitely unique, and I recommend it. I recommend getting a reservation before you get on board, just because there is a price difference and you just want to make sure that you're able to get into the restaurant and not rely on maybe an opening happening once you get on the boat. So I would definitely reserve a spot before you get on board. You can do that as soon as you download the app. You can start making reservations. And we also had some baked goods. There was a little cafe, like a coffee and pastry cafe. So we had some pastries there, and then there was also oh my god, I'm gonna say this wrong, gelateria. They had gelato. And so we tried the gelato also. The baked goods were included in the price of the cruise. The gelato was not. That was an additional price. Also, Le Petit Chef, also additional price. Main dining room was included in the price of the cruise, along with the buffet, and then the pool grill was included in the price of the cruise. Things that stuck out to me that were my favorites while we were on the boat, as far as food goes, is there was a jerk chicken dish that was, I think, the first or second night of us being on the boat in the main dining room. It was amazing. I don't like restaurant chicken. It's usually dry and tasteless and just not cooked the way I want it to be cooked. It was so good. good. So yes, highly recommend that. Of course, it was not on the menu the next day because they rotate the menu, but so happy I got to try it. It was delicious. So yes, the jerk chicken in the main dining room is so good. It is so tender. It is so like juicy, and the meat is cooked perfectly, and it is seasoned to perfection. Highly recommend. And then in the buffet, I really enjoyed the Indian food. That was really good. I like Indian food in general, but I love that there was always an Indian food station, and it was always really good. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, that was a really good station for you to go to because they had a lot of veggie options. So yes, I really enjoyed all the veggie options that they had at the different restaurants. You know, again, there was a veggie burger at the Pool Grill. There was plenty of vegetarian options in the buffet, and then of course the main dining room also had veggie options. So also, if you ever have any dietary restrictions, they will ask, and you can also ask and inquire yourself about what options you have. If you have any allergies, like gluten allergies, nut allergies, dairy allergies, if you literally just have a health restriction where you can't eat certain foods or drink certain things, or if you're just currently on a different lifestyle change where you're not having any sugar, any dairy, or any things that are high in fat, or you know, if you're on keto, things like that, you can definitely inquire with the staff about what food options that there are, because they will definitely accommodate you. Now we're going to get into the things that I didn't really like about the food, and that list is a little bit longer than my likes. So the gelato. I'm going to start with the gelato. First of all, when we got to the gelato station, gelateria, however you say it, we had to wait a while because there was just no one there working the station. That was a little weird because the staff was so attentive that it was just weird that there was no one there to work at that time. And there was more than just me there. There were a couple people there waiting to be served. So it was a little strange that it took a while for someone to like come out and actually serve us. But when I finally did get my gelato, it was so cold that it was hard. And if you've ever had gelato before, you know that it's really smooth and creamy. So it's a different texture than ice cream, but it was basically just ice cream because it was at a much higher, or I guess a much lower temperature than it should have been. So it was really, really hard, to the point where the staff member was having trouble trying to get it out of the bin that it was in. I mean, they were really putting in some elbow grease trying to scrape out this full bin of gelato, but it was frozen so solid that they just could barely get any out. So that was a little disappointing. All I did was I just waited for it to kind of heat up a little bit or warm up a little bit, and then it returned back to its normal texture. But it did kind of suck that initially it was just hard ice cream. And then the next thing that I didn't like, and I guess there was only 2 things on my dislikes list, is because these were the 2 things that I was just like, yeah, no, I don't like this. Other things I was like, meh, whatever. It wasn't enough for me to say I don't like it, but like it was edible. There was a dessert in the main dining room, and it was a panna cotta dessert. I love panna cotta, but it had fruit on top, but it was the fruit that I absolutely hate. I was surprised that they chose this fruit to put on top of this panna cotta. It was cantaloupe and honeydew melon, which is so like, why would you put that on top of a dessert? That's a filler fruit. No one actually really eats those things on purpose. Like, that's cheap fruit that you put in a fruit cocktail or a fruit salad. Fine dining restaurants just don't have honeydew melon and cantaloupe. That was very weird to me. I don't like those fruits. I don't like the way they taste, and it did not taste good with the panna cotta at all. So I literally just scraped it off and just ate the panna cotta by itself, which I was fine with because I love panna cotta, so it was fine by itself. But the fruit options were terrible. Usually you get something like peaches, strawberries, like berries are usually served with panna cotta as far as fruit goes. So it was very weird to have honeydew melon and cantaloupe. I didn't like that. Now we're gonna move on to drinks. So there was as far as what was included in the drinks, there was always fruit punch and lemonade and water. And then also some hot teas that were included in the Pool Grill had it. I believe the Solarium Cafe had them. Obviously the buffet had it. And then also the main dining room, they automatically served you water, but I think if you asked for like the fruit punch or the lemonade, they probably had it. It's on the menu. Your options are on the menu for that night, so you'll know like what's available to you. Alcoholic beverages obviously are an additional price, whether that be a cocktail, a hard liquor, a beer, wine, champagne. Those obviously you have to pay for if you do order them. You are allowed to bring your own wine on board. That is fine. You're not supposed to bring like hard liquor, so vodka, rum. The hard liquors, you are not supposed to bring those on board. Money. That's the reason. Money. They want you to buy the alcohol on the boat. So, but you are allowed to bring wine. But I recommend, if you are going to order alcohol on the boat and you're not going to have a drinks package, order straight up alcohol. So order the wine, order the champagne, order a beer. Do not get a mixed drink at all. Do not do it, because they put about this much alcohol in those mixed drinks. You cannot taste it, and you will not be able to feel it unless you drink multiple drinks at a time. And I know that's what people do on boats. I'm not a heavy drinker at all. I only can do like one drink in a sitting. That's it. I can't throw back a bunch of drinks. Okay, I will be in the hospital. So yeah, the two drinks that I ordered on the boat, the first one I ordered at dinner, it was a cocktail. It was okay. My partner ordered a cocktail also. His was disgusting. It tastes like medicine with soda. Like, it literally tastes like cough syrup and bubbly water. It was not good at all. Mine was more palatable, but it wasn't great. I've definitely had better drinks, and these were like specialty cocktails they came up with. It was something that they had curated themselves, and it was not good. It was very obvious that the ingredients they used were super duper cheap. Like, you could taste that syrup the simple syrup, you could definitely taste that. It was not good. The alcohol, what alcohol? It was no. From the pool bar, we ordered a pina colada, which the flavor was really good. Enjoyed the flavor. However, alcohol, where is that? Where's the alcohol? Like, you can taste it, but it's almost like they put an alcohol flavored drink in it, but not actual alcohol, because you can't taste anything. I am such a lightweight that if you open a bottle, I'm like, whew, that's a lot. But they did nothing for me, nothing, which is crazy because it's so easy for me to feel alcohol. It's so easy. So nothing happened. The drinks were super duper weak. So order a drinks package so that you can just throw them back, or just bring your own wine on board, or order just straight up wine, beer, again, just straight up alcohol, because the cocktails are not going to get you to where you're trying to go at all. Now we're going to talk about the entertainment on the boat. So the entertainment choices consisted of musical shows like nightly in the theater. There was a comedian. There was live music by various bands, and then sometimes there were just individual performers, like, guitarists that would go around and play in the different cafes and the atriums, things like that. There was trivia, there was bingo, there was a silent disco, there was karaoke, there was a nightclub on board, there was an art auction, and there's also a casino on board. Those are the things I could really think of and remember. As far as entertainment goes, those were the things that kind of happened throughout the 5-day cruise. Sometimes there was a DJ in various places, but usually in the atrium, which was interesting that they would just be in like the main atrium foyer area. There would just be a DJ randomly there. So that was the options for entertainment. Very straightforward, normal cruise entertainment. And now I just want to talk about my experience. Me and my partner were some of the younger people on the boat, definitely. I have never been on a celebrity cruise line before. I've been on other cruise lines, but this was my first time on celebrity. I just really wanted to try something else, something different. It was a smaller boat, which is nice. I like the idea of a smaller boat. I don't need to be on board with like 6,000 other people. I'm good with that. You could definitely tell. It was very easy to get around. The embarkation and the disembarkation was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. Getting on the boat, when we showed up, there were no lines. We got on at 11:30, I believe, between 11:30 and 12. You give the porter your bag. That was the first time a porter didn't ask for a tip, because in the past when I went on a cruise, you give the porter your bag and their hand is just out as soon as the bag reaches their arm. They're just like, okay, money. That was not the case at all for celebrity. They were not looking for cash. As a matter of fact, I had to go up to him and be like, here you go, sir. He wasn't looking for cash. He was just looking to do his job. So that was actually nice. We went to the line, went into the building. It was very straightforward. There were barely any lines at all. All we had to do was, we had our carry-on baggage with us, and you put your carry-on baggage through the x-ray machine so they can check that, and you yourself walk through a metal detector. You don't have to take your shoes off, I don't think you have to take your belt off or hats off. Maybe hats, but you get to keep your shoes on. That's the most important thing. But you just walk through a metal detector. They just want to make sure that you're not bringing any weapons on board, because that would be bad. So yes, the embarkation process was really easy. Make sure that you have your passport or your ID on you, and make sure that you have your boarding pass on you, whether it be a printout or it's already on your phone, but make sure you have that, because we had to get that scanned multiple times. There's multiple checkpoints to make sure that you're not a stowaway on their boat. There's multiple checkpoints to get onto their boat. So once you get through security, I want to say there was 2, possibly 3 times after we went through security that we had to get our boarding pass scanned. They're there and waiting to make sure that whoever's getting on this boat is supposed to be on this boat. So, and then disembarkation day was very easy. In the past, and disembarkation was crazy. Everyone was just piled into the main atrium, basically just waiting to get off the boat, waiting for their group to be called. This time on Celebrity, we knew what time we were supposed to get off, so we just kind of stayed in our stateroom until it's time to go, and then we decided to just leave. We were off the boat before it was time for our group to be called. It was so fast. We didn't have to declare anything, because literally all we did was we walked through the long hallways, got off onto the port building. They didn't ask us to declare anything. They didn't check our passports. Literally, there was a face scanner that you walked past that recognized that you were supposed to be in the country. That was it. It was very quick. We did not have our bags taken away the night before, so we carried our bags to the whole thing. It would have been more cumbersome to have our bags taken away the night before, because then once you got through the process, you would have to sit and wait for your bag to come off the carousel. So yes, disembarkation was easy. Embarkation was super easy. No crowds. It was a breeze. It went so fast. So that was great. Definitely a plus. My favorite part about the boat was how not crowded it was. There was always plenty of seating. There was always space for you to sit and lounge. You wanted to go to a show, it was easy to find a spot to sit. And there was not really, because we went to the theater once for a comedy show, there's no bad seat in the house. It's actually a really well planned and thought out theater where wherever you sit, you're gonna have a good seat. So it was perfect. I do recommend that because of the demographic of people, make sure you go early to an event. So if you want to do karaoke, get there early. If you want to go to a comedy show, go get there early, because again, the demographic, they tend to be early and or on time. Younger folks tend to be late. So I recommend that if you want to actually get a seat and get a good seat, that you get there early. I'm talking like, 10, 15, 20 minutes before everything's about to start. If you want to bring a drink, that's fine. There's more than likely going to be a bar already there. There was a bar in the theater. There was a bar in the club. There was a bar in all the cafes. There's a bar everywhere. There's always a bar. If you're concerned about having a drink in the event or the entertainment space you're going to be in, don't worry. There's a bar already going to be in there. You'll be fine. As a matter of fact, they walk around and ask, do you want anything? Would you like something? Would you like something to drink? So yes, I enjoyed that. It didn't feel crowded. There was always space to sit somewhere in the bar and the club. If you went for karaoke, if you went to a show, all of that, anywhere, if you want to lounge on a deck, any of the decks, in the solarium, wherever, there was always a place to sit. It was great. The boat wasn't overcrowded. It wasn't noisy. It was perfect. It was very relaxing. Another thing that I really liked was the fact that our stateroom was very close to the pool bar / grill, and also to the buffet. We were on the same deck. It was perfect. So I believe those 2 places were towards the aft, which it's a small boat, so it was very easy to go from the front of the boat to the back of the boat. We just would walk right over in the morning to get something to drink or to get breakfast and walk right back to our rooms. It was great. It was perfect. We were on deck 10 for reference. Deck 10, that's where the pool is. That's where the pool bar, the pool grill. It's also where the buffet is located. So deck 10 was perfect. And then also on the nights, we would do stargazing. Actually, it was easiest to stargaze on the veranda just because there was no like heavy lighting there. So we would just look up in the sky and look at all the stars, because there was a lot of them, a lot of stars, and saw several shooting stars. Highly recommend that. So that was my experience on the boat. My experience was overall very relaxing, very calming, peaceful. It was sleepy. I'm gonna say it was sleepy, but I'll get into why later. But it was definitely overall, I enjoyed my experience. Let's get into the cons. I'm gonna do cons first and then I'll do my pros. Here's my cons. Not much entertainment. So earlier I said that the boat was kind of sleepy, and that's because the entertainment was lacking. I didn't go to any of the theater shows, like the musicals and all that stuff. Well, for one, the synopsis of the shows didn't tickle my fancy at all. But also we heard what the singers sound like, what the performers sound like. And honestly, they didn't sound very good, which was surprising to me because I thought that they would be more like, I just thought they would sound different. But to me, they didn't sound that great. So I didn't want to sit through an hour show of people not sounding very good. But yeah, there wasn't much entertainment. Like I mentioned, you know, that there was bingo and karaoke, but like karaoke only happened twice. That's it. Happened 2 nights on a 5-day cruise. That's it. And it was only for 45 minutes. That's it. It was so popular though. That was the weird thing. Karaoke was extremely popular, but they only did it twice for 45 minutes. It was with a live band, so that was really cool. You got to sing and perform with a live band behind you, but like, why was it only 2 times? It was such a popular event. They need to fix that. Also, bingo. So we tried to go to bingo and we were wondering how to get the cards. So apparently, bingo was held in the nightclub on deck 11, but you had to go to the casino to purchase your cards there earlier in the day. Did not know that because it wasn't in the app. That's where you get their information from. You get all your information from the app. Because they didn't put that information in the app, we didn't know that we were supposed to buy our bingo cards in the casino prior to bingo starting, and you had to purchase the cards. I think they were like $2 a card or something like that. I don't remember the price, but you had to purchase the cards. So didn't realize that. So that was a bust. We just said forget it. Art auction, wasn't interested. Just wasn't interested. Just plain and simple. And then the comedian was great, okay? But he only performed 1 night. He had 2 shows, 1 night. 5-day cruise. We had 2 days at sea. He didn't even perform on the sea days. He performed on the day that we were in port in Cozumel. Why did he only perform 1 night? That's crazy. I know that man had more than 1 set. I feel like he should have performed on the sea days. That would have made so much more sense because those are days that need to be jam-packed with entertainment. That was very weird to me that they had a comedian on the boat for 5 days and he only performed 1 night. That doesn't make sense. And then as far as the nightclub goes, I peeked my head in and wasn't feeling it. It could have just been because of the demographic. You know, we'll just leave it there. Everything was done by 1 a.m. There was nothing happening past 1 a.m. 1 a.m. happened, that was it. As a matter of fact, there was only one thing going on after 12, and that was the nightclub. That's it. Everything else had already ended. It's just that the last thing of the night that was scheduled was the nightclub, and that was done at 1 a.m. Now it makes sense because almost everyone on the boat is 60+ years old. Why are they up past midnight, you know? But I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. That's my own fault. It happens, but that's just a warning for you if you're a younger person getting on a celebrity summit that everything ends at 1 a.m. It's over. You're gonna have to twiddle your thumbs or just walk around the boat or something. The entertainment wasn't amazing to me. I feel like there should have been more of it. And then during the day, there wasn't much entertainment happening either. So I understand that they're not gonna have entertainment happening while we're in port, but again, we had 2 sea days and there was barely any. When I tell you that they filled up the calendar with just trivia, there was so much trivia. There's got to be something else you can do on a boat besides trivia. But again, I know different demographic, they do different things. What I wish I did, I wish I brought a book on board with me. That would have actually been a source of entertainment for me so that when things did get sleepy, where there was a lull in activity, because there would be times where there was just nothing going on at all, and this is during the day, you know, a book would have been nice to read. I still was able to occupy myself so that it did not destroy my experience at all. I still found other things to do because I'm creative. But yeah, I don't know, the entertainment left something to be desired. There was a small cover band on board that was terrible, to say the least. They couldn't play very well, and the vocalists weren't good either. It was actually very confusing just because I remember growing up and knowing that cruise ship singers and entertainers were known for being very, very high energy, very talented. Were able to do multiple things because like you'll have multiple shows. You'll have to like, you know, do a cafe show during the day and then at night you're on the stage. So you were able to do like ballet and tap and jazz and sing all different types of genres and play all different types of instruments and just entertain the crowd and really carry a song and really perform the song and make people feel something. These people weren't good at that. They were not good at it. It was just this one specific small cover band. They were not good, and it was actually very shocking to me that they were allowed, that's harsh. It was just shocking that they were being paid to do what they were doing. Another con for me was there was a bit of a cultural difference between me and staff, and that's gonna happen. So if you've never been on a cruise before, most of the staff on a cruise ship are international people. You're not really gonna have any Americans on a cruise ship. Maybe the performers are American, but that's about it. When it comes to the wait staff, the stateroom attendants, the maintenance crew, all those people, they're not American. So there's gonna be a difference in culture and how their tone of voice comes off when they communicate with you. And so where I mostly felt this was in the main dining room. Our waiter seemed very cold. And I don't think he was intentionally being cold. I think that's just culturally, he was just being himself. And this was on both nights. We had different waiters on either night, but they were both of the same ethnicity. And they were both very cold. It didn't feel warm. It didn't feel inviting. I just think it was a cultural thing. It's just, Americans overdo it. We really do. People make fun of us for it. People outside the country make fun of us for it. But we overdo it when it comes to customer service. We're always like, hi, how are you? How you doing? Welcome in. Anything I can get you? Can I get you this? Can I get you that? Did you enjoy it? Do you need this? Like, we overdo it. We really do. We coddle our customers. That's what we do. That's the American way. So it's just difference in culture. It just felt really, really cold to interact with the main dining staff. So, but I think it was a difference in culture. I don't think they were trying to be rude. I don't think they were trying to be cold. That's just how it came off. There was a lot of soliciting on the boat. Was not expecting that. I expect it in the cruise ports. I don't expect the soliciting on the boat. We got asked so many times about buying a drink package. They were so aggressive about this drink package, and we had to be like, no. And a lot of times they didn't take no for an answer. We would say, oh, no, thank you. And then they would try to keep going to really sell us as to why we need a drink package. I don't want your little watered down drinks. I'm not here to get drunk. I'm here to relax. I don't want to drink 16, 17 drinks a day to make the drinks package worth it. Again, if you've never been on a cruise before, or if you've never looked into a drinks package or never had one before, the drinks package it's an amount that you pay per day. There's two different types. There's a drinks package for soft drinks, and there's an alcohol drinks package. But if you're good with math and you break down how much a drinks package costs per day to how much the drinks cost, you know that you would actually never be able to drink enough of those drinks to make it worth the drinks package, because the whole point is they're trying to make a profit. But you would have to drink so much in order for you to break even with the drinks package. I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to do that challenge. I'm good on that. I don't need that much alcohol. I don't need that much soft drinks. I'm good. So that was a little annoying. We were solicited several times for the drinks package. We don't want it. We're good. This next one has nothing to do with the cruise. I did not like the Bahamas cruise port at all. I've been there before. I had been there on a previous cruise. Pre-pandemic, I went on a cruise, literally 2019, and we went to the Bahamas, and we got off. It was fine. We went to a restaurant inland, and it was great. Had a great time. This time, post-pandemic, they've actually redone the port. So they've made a whole new shopping area. It's bright and colorful. It's really pretty. It's really nice, actually. However, there were between 4 and 6. It was somewhere between 4 and 6 cruise ships all docked at the same time at the same port. There are thousands of people per boat. So you can imagine that port was not meant to hold that many people. So it was very, very hot, very, very humid, very, very crowded. Fine, whatever. That has nothing to do with the cruise. Again, I'm not blaming celebrity for this at all. However, once we got through the crowds of people after walking, off the gangway and going off onto the actual port, the soliciting was nuts. Nuts. It was nuts. There was so much soliciting. They were very aggressive about it, and it was left and right. You could not walk past a single person without them trying really hard to sell you something, which was very annoying because there had to be between 4,000 and 8,000 people on the port at the same time. I think you can let up. If there was only 1,000 or less people on the port, I can see being more aggressive because it's harder to get, it would be harder to sell things because there's less people. But there were thousands. There were thousands of people at the port at the same time. They didn't have to be that aggressive. They really didn't. It made it so uncomfortable. And then also we were trying to get away from the more touristy part and go further inland, and that proved to be very difficult. And another thing, I'm very big on cleanliness. That is a really big deal to me. That port was not clean. And I don't blame the port, because when you have that many people coming to your port a day, and knowing that the Bahamas is not a rich economy, they just don't have the staff or the resources to keep it clean. But it was uncomfortable for me because of how not clean it was. You know, there was trash all on the ground. It just needed love. Basically, it needed further cleaning. The new part looked nice, it really did, but I feel that all that will be for naught, because if you can't keep it clean, what's the point of it being new? So we had to just leave. The turning point for me just turning around and getting back on the boat was we were walking down a sidewalk and grime had gotten all in my shoes, like dirt and stuff, and then a bus went by and all this dirt and gravel had kicked up and got all in my eyes and all over my face. So yeah, we're heading back to the boat. We tried. We really tried. We're in the Bahamas. We really tried. Stuff all in my eyes. It ain't it. It's just not it.
Nope.
It's just not it. We tried. We really did. So we're going to get back on the boat and enjoy being hydrated and clean, and look forward to dinner tonight. Yeah. I was done. I was ready to go home. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to stay here. Like, I had on sunglasses. How did stuff get in my eyes with sunglasses on? I was over it. I couldn't take it. I was already dodging trash on the ground, and then for trash to literally be blown up by a bus and like kicked up in my face, I couldn't do it. Also, it was very humid and very hot. I don't do heat at all. I love the cold. I can't, like, I love the cold. So me being in heat doesn't work. So I was already irritated, but I was willing to just walk around, because that's what I like to do. I just like to see like new things, and I wasn't enjoying myself. I did not enjoy the Bahamas port at all. First time I went, I loved it. Second time, no. As a matter of fact, if I never go back again, it'll be too soon. So we're gonna go back to the boat. This is like a small thing, but it was specific to me and my partner. So as far as tea goes, so I mentioned earlier, included in your cruise fare, there are certain drinks and certain foods that are, you know, included in it. And one of the things that was included was tea, which is great, like hot tea. But the only issue is that I think they had one option of non-caffeinated herbal tea. All the other non-caffeinated herbal tea you had to purchase, which you can imagine was very overpriced because it's a tea bag. Let's be real, tea bags individually cost anywhere from 10 cents. Like the actual individual, just one tea bag is actually worth anywhere from like 10 cents to maybe like $1, maybe. They don't actually cost that much, but you already know it's a cruise. Of course, they probably, you know, racked up the price to something that was astronomical just for some tea. So it does suck that they only had one non-caffeinated herbal tea that was an option. And that's the thing, they had so much tea that was included, but they only gave one option for non-caffeinated. And I know that may not be a big deal to some people, but for people who are heavy tea drinkers, who also don't drink caffeinated teas, that actually kind of sucks. So I recommend bring your own tea bags. They have plenty of hot water, but just bring your own tea bags. It'll save on the cost, and also you'll have your favorite tea with you. So that's just a little tip. Another thing that was a little bit uncomfortable was every day I felt pressured to get out of the room. And I know most people are just like, the whole point of being on a cruise is to get out of the room and go do something else. Again, this was very sleepy. There was not a lot going on. So being in your room, because the room was honestly very comfortable. Being in your room was nice. It was enjoyable, especially when you have a veranda. It's great. You can just go to the cafe, get something, come back, and sit on your private veranda. It's great. But I felt pressured that I had to leave the room every day and go find something to do, even if something wasn't happening. It's just like, okay, I have to leave for the room to get cleaned. I felt pressured every day to have to be kicked out of the room. And I know that's like, duh, you know, like they have to do their job, they have to clean the room. I get that. I'm not angry at that, not a big deal. I'm just saying it just felt like I was required to leave my room every day. And I was just like, there were some days where I just didn't want that pressure. I wanted to just chill. And then my last two cons, one, I didn't like how casual the dress code was. So This is definitely personal preference. Some people, when they go on vacation, all they want to do is wear sweats or cargo pants and t-shirts or pajamas the whole time, like, or swimwear the whole time. They don't want to wear real clothes. I get that. But I thought that because I was getting on a more luxury type of cruise line, that the dress code would be a little bit more strict or sophisticated. Pretty much everyone was very dressed down, very casual. A lot of people stayed in their swimwear the whole time, which is fine. Again, it's a cruise ship, like that's to be expected. But you know, the main dining room is gorgeous. And obviously it's formal. When you walk in there, you're just like, ooh, I probably shouldn't have jeans on, even though they allowed it. There were people walking in who had on things that you don't wear at a fine dining restaurant, and they didn't really enforce it. That as far as like a dress code, on the app, it specifically said for the main dining room that you're not supposed to have sandals on. No flip-flops, no swimwear, no sweats, no pajamas. Men can't wear caps. Men were not supposed to wear shorts. They had to wear pants. And so it was more of a elevated casual / business casual dress code. That is not what I saw. Some people dress like that, but there were some people who literally had on like what I'm wearing right now, which is, you know, a tank top and like a zip up sweater or a sweatshirt, and they were let right in, or leggings, and so it looked like they had on like yoga wear. That was weird to me because I literally wore a gown, which is fine. I don't let the way other people dress affect how I dress. If I want to dress up, I'm going to dress up. If I'm going to be overdressed, fine, whatever. I'd rather be overdressed than underdressed. But it's fun to me to be in an environment where everyone is dressed up. I like that. I like the way that feels. I like that everyone puts their best foot forward and, you know, really comes dressed to the nines. It just makes it fun for me. Did I still have fun? Yes, of course. Did I still dress up? Absolutely, because that's what I like to do. But that was a little shocking to me, and I put that on my cons list just because I really was looking forward to everyone being dressed up. Oops. And the last thing is a con, but also a warning. There is no way for you to iron or press your clothes yourself on celebrity cruise lines. Other cruise lines, there's a laundry room that is open for the guests to use, and there's usually an iron in there or a washing machine and a dryer. That does not exist on Celebrity. You have to pay for laundry service in order for your clothes to either get cleaned, of course you can always hand wash them, or for them to get pressed. And I was not expecting that, but I did my research before I got on the cruise, so that was fine. But on the app, and I'm gonna put a screenshot up of what it said on the app, there was a discretion in the wording on the app as opposed to what the reality of laundry service was. I gave the stateroom attendant my items to be pressed on the first night that we were on the boat. I didn't get my things back until 2 days later. On the app, it says if you turn in your items to be laundered or pressed before a certain time, it'll be back the next day. That did not happen. I called guest services and asked for clarification, and they said, oh yeah, no, it's a 48-hour turnaround process. So I had no clothes to wear for a day. Luckily it was a sea day, so I just stayed in my room the whole day. Still enjoyed it, but initially I was mad because in writing you're saying one thing, but verbally you're saying something else. And it was just very upsetting that you didn't make it clear what was actually supposed to happen. So again, I followed what was on the app. I gave them my clothes to be pressed the first night that we were on the boat, with the thought that I was gonna have it back by the next night. Nope, did not come back until 48 hours later, which is not what that screenshot said. So just a warning to you all that if you don't come with your stuff already pressed, that if you're going to use the laundry service, just know that you're not going to get your stuff back for 2 days, which is crazy because it's only a 5-day cruise. So that's all my cons. And now we're going to get into the pros. So here's my pros. The room and the balcony. Amazing. I love them so much. Or the veranda, that's what they call it. I love it so much. It was perfect. We basically lived on that balcony. We sat out there all the time. We ate, we drank, we laughed, and we were merry. It was great. The weather was perfect. The water was gorgeous. It was private enough so that we couldn't see anybody. They couldn't see us. The night sky was gorgeous. Just sitting out there and staring at the stars at night was amazing. Seeing all the shooting stars and all the constellations. We fell asleep out there a few times. It was fantastic. I loved the balcony. I'm a balcony lover. I have never been on a cruise ship without a balcony before, and I never will, because I just don't see the point. I personally don't see the point of getting on a cruise ship and not having a balcony. That's just me. The room itself, I love that room. The color scheme was great because it's like bright and airy. I love how it felt roomy enough because, again, me and my partner were smaller people, so it was the appropriate amount of room. It was a 5-day cruise, so we had enough storage within the room to store all of our things. The bathroom, again, love it because it was super efficient. The bed was very comfortable. This is crazy. This may sound silly, but on TV, yes, I actually did watch TV because I was stuck in my room for a day. There was a channel. If you've ever watched TV on a cruise, you know that the same things play over and over and over again. That did not happen on this cruise. Like we watched TV for hours, and it was something different every single hour. There was nothing repeated. It was all different things. It was great. That's a pro for me, because every time you turn on the TV and it's the same thing over and over again, it's actually really annoying, and it's like, what the heck? But it was really cool that they had something different every single hour. So that was actually a pro for me. I love that they rotate the menu in the main dining room and also in the buffet. That was really cool to me. So you don't get bored of the same thing. Also, you get to try new things, and it just shows their skill that they're able to do more than just like mashed potatoes and chicken, you know? They actually have skilled chefs who can come up with different things for you to try. So definitely love that. And it's a great excuse to try different foods on a cruise ship. So love the rotating menu. Le Petit Chef. So I'm gonna put in clips of Le Petit Chef, but it's a really, really cool, unique dining experience that is not included in the cruise fare, but it is an additional price. It is located in one of the restaurants that's on board, and you have to make a reservation. Yeah, they have 2 menus that you can choose from, and it's from beginning to end. So they have like the amuse-bouche and the main course and then like a soup or something, and then they also have your dessert. It was really cool, very unique. It's like this projection dinner show. I'll put in clips, you'll see. Also, going back to our room, the location of it was golden. Again, I mentioned earlier we were on deck 10. Also located on deck 10 was the buffet and the pool bar, the pool grill. It was just perfect. So when we were ready to eat, all we had to do was like leave our room but stay on the same deck and just walk over. Really quick walk. It was great. Love that. I actually really liked that the baked goods in the cafe was included in our cruise fare. I just found that enjoyable because it gave more options for you to go somewhere else to try food and not be stuck in like the main dining room or in the buffet or at the pool bar. Like it was an inside cafe near the atrium actually, where they have like coffee and tea, but they also have like little cakes and pastries and cookies. And that was included. Now the coffee and the tea, I don't think that was included, but the pastries were. So that was really cool. And you get to have whatever you want. They'll ask you, what do you want? And you're just like, I want that, and that. And it's all good. So that was really cool. I also, my pro is that I really like that there was always a space to lounge or sit. That's a huge pro for me. It didn't feel overcrowded. I didn't feel like I couldn't get away from people. It was actually very easy to find peace and quiet. The people on the cruise were very respectful. They weren't super loud or disruptive, rowdy or anything like that. They respected your space. You know, I never felt like people were like crowding me or anything like that. So I really enjoyed that. I felt comfortable. So that was great. That's definitely a pro. The lack of children on the boat was beautiful. I love children. I really do. I adore them. I think they're great. But there are times when I just don't want to be around children. And on vacation is one of those times. Now, if you're going to like Disney World or a theme park, an amusement park, you should expect children there. I totally get that. That's not what I'm talking about. This cruise was specifically geared towards people of a particular age. So I knew that there weren't really going to be any children. But after I got on board and saw how many children there weren't there, fantastic. It was great. And that actually added to why it was so quiet and so comfortable on the boat, because you didn't have little people running around everywhere. Now, there were children. They do have a children's camp on the cruise ship, but compared to other cruise lines, there was definitely a lack of children, and I was fine with that. Another thing I really liked was the sales in the shops. So I believe it was the day before we got back to port, all the shops had sales. So I was able to pick up some new sunglasses that I really love, and I got a new fashion scarf that I really like, but everything was on sale. Jewelry, clothes, shoes, perfume, watches, which is jewelry, the alcohol, everything was on sale in the shops, and you actually got some really good stuff. And of course it's duty free, so taxes where. I really like the sales. It was fun just going to the shops and just seeing what was on sale, what they had, you know, what you can get. It was fantastic. The boat, I like that the boat was very easy to navigate because it was a smaller boat. There was always something telling you where you were, like what deck you were on, what's in that part of the deck. You know, it was very easy to get around. So I did like that. The app, there's mixed reviews with the app. If you go on the Play Store, the Google Play Store, you'll see the ratings are horrible. I didn't actually have an issue with the app when I needed to use it. So I did not have a Wi-Fi package. I was only connected to the boat's free Wi-Fi, and that's how I was able to use the app. And of course you can download the app before you even get on the boat. 30 days, I want to say like 30 days before you can even download the app. I forget, but as long as you have a reservation to be on the boat, you can download the app and they'll have your information in the app. It was easy to use. It was clean. It was direct. It had, like, you know, you can make reservations in the app. It had all the schedule of what was going on the boat, when we were supposed to be in port, when you're supposed to get back on that boat to leave. It was all there. It was perfect. And also it had your muster station in there, and also like your boarding pass was in there. I do recommend the app. It made it easier to navigate things. They do still provide the paper itinerary daily in your stateroom. If you don't want to carry around the paper, you can always just go on the app and see what's going on when you're walking around the boat. So the app was a pro. My last pro is actually going to be part of the entertainment. So there was this one specific cover band that was on the boat. I'm sorry, not the boat. That was on the ship. Cannot call it a boat, you have to call it a ship. That was on the ship, and they were called the Seagulls. And they were great. They were the same band that also hosts the karaoke with the live band, but they also have different shows throughout the cruise. They were great. The main vocalist, super duper talented. The musicians, super duper talented. They were the complete opposite of that other cover band that I spoke about. I don't even know their name, okay? That's how much I just wasn't feeling them. But I don't know their name, but they were a much smaller band. But the Seagulls, they're the ones you want to actually hear. They're really, really talented. They're really good. They mostly did a lot of CRC, which I did not know who CRC was at all. Had never heard of them, but I guess because of the demographic, that's what they mostly do. But that's literally like all the music they sing is by a band called CRC from the 70s. Never heard of them before until that cruise. My final thoughts are, I would get on Celebrity Summit again. The most I could be on Celebrity Summit is 5 days. I can't go past that just because there wasn't as much entertainment that would keep me entertained enough to like stay on the boat for more than 5 days. I would enjoy going on the cruise again with a group of people or with family. I feel like it would add to the entertainment element. I recommend it for obviously people 60 and up. If you're a younger person who's nowhere near 60, if you are a laid back, chill person who does not party a lot, who's not a heavy drinker, who just wants to be on the water and just cruise and look at the ocean and just have good food and just really chill out and not have any real responsibilities, I recommend it. If you're looking to go on and party and be up all night and be loud and be drunk and really do all the young people things, don't you get on this boat. Do not get on this boat. Don't do it. Do not get on Celebrity Summit if you're looking for a big party, because it's not going to happen. There wasn't even a sail away party. They don't do that. It's not happening. It's not happening on this boat. But yes, I look forward to future cruises. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section below. What was your experience like if you've ever been on Celebrity Summit or any other celebrity boats? What's your favorite cruise? What do you recommend for people who are between 25 and 35? What are your recommendations for cruises? And thank you again for tuning in. Have a great day and happy cruising.